reminded her mother. Yes, my mother died, but with God's grace, I am here for you, said Karuna. But she was not taking any chances with Asha's future. Karuna had been working away at what she perceived as her daughter's weaknesses. Karuna knew the world was an unforgiving place, especially for women. She never applauded Asha, never said how good she was at household chores, nor did she praise her for coming first in her class. It was Asha's outspokenness, her intelligence and curiosity, qualities that were deemed undesirable in a woman, which caused concern. However, such a mindset spurred Asha to apply herself harder at activities she did not excel in. Granted, focusing on one's duties and weaknesses was not a bad strategy in life. If you knew your weaknesses, you learned to protect yourself. Asha worked away at her weaknesses. No one taught her how to protect herself from her strengths. Asha's life was mapped out for her: marriage, children, looking after the family, and when she was old, she would be looked after by her family. The idea that a woman could be anything else other was not worth considering unless she had the misfortune of being born so unattractive that no eligible man would have her. This worldview was not embodied in any single person. The family shared it like the tributaries of the mighty Ganges merging in a grand confluence. Home is not just bricks and mortar. It's a vision of the world, a way of living, of finding one's place in the universe. I'd like to move on to the point where she's gone to college and fallen in love with a classmate of hers, and the family doesn't approve, and Asha, obviously, that's what children do, that sort of dialectic between parents and children. So here is, her parents are actually talking about it. Asha's life had changed irrevocably. No one disputed that. Her family regretted it. According to her parents, she was stuck in a rut entirely of her own making, which was far from the desirable place she could be in. Life was full of problems. One did not add to the quantum of suffering by one's own actions. Aditya felt it more acutely than his wife. If he was not so completely shattered with her decision, if he could only find the right words, he would have explained to her that human propensity to make mistakes is infinite, while our ability to undo them is finite. If we could learn from our mistakes, all was not lost. He was unable to say anything at all to his daughter. Instead, he shared his misgivings with his wife. Do you think Anand will really marry Asha and make her happy? If he doesn't marry her, it would be a blessing in disguise. I'm afraid he'll just ruin her life. Where is he these days? What is he doing? What's wrong with her? Why can't she see things for what they are? How can she be so blind? Aditya could not believe how naive his daughter was. Karuna listened sympathetically. While they rarely agreed on anything, the world appearing in contrasting disguises to each, they respected each other as a parent, and knew that each wanted the best for their children. After giving the matter some thought, she said, "We can't force her to marry someone we choose. Also, how do we find someone who will marry her if she insists on marrying Anand? Is there a man with such a generous heart and soul? I have no idea what Anand is up to. Asha said he's preparing for the IAS, that is the Indian Administrative Service, which at least used to be highly valued in India. They both lost a whole year with the delays, first with their exams and then with the declaration of the results. What a mess the educational system is in it. What can we do but pray and wait? Not just the educational system, the bloody country. The future of our daughter too is in no better shape. Anand won't get into the IAS, nor will he find a decent job, Aditya prophesied. Well, we don't know that for sure. If we knew, We could try to reason with her. There's no guarantee that if we find someone for her, she'll be happy. Nothing is certain. Asha too has no idea. You can tell by that look on her face. She is so unhappy. I don't understand the point of being in love and being so miserable, Karuna sighed. So I'll just move on from here to the next bit where I think even today the marriage of a daughter, even for a son for that matter, is still an important aspect of life, anywhere in the world. But it really used to be a huge focus of attention when I was growing up as a kid. It is true that preparations for Asha's wedding began the day she was born. Karuna had been buying things for as long as she could remember. She would mutter to herself, "This is for Asha's wedding," or "This is for Vikram's wife," as she invested in a gold bangle or a necklace. Yet the most basic of necessities for the two marriages were still not in place: a bride for Vikram and an income for Anand. As she could do nothing about the latter, Karuna focused on what was achievable. She had been diligent, considered almost 100 proposals for Vikram, seen more than a dozen girls, but had not yet found one that she thought was suitable. As Karuna and Aditya also saw the world through completely different lenses, life did not run smoothly in the Guru household. With the two pulling in opposite directions, they often found themselves standing alone at a tangent, far away from where they had started. It was not unusual for them to return home, not talking to each other, and then complaining to the children of the unreasonableness of the other. "Your father never listens to me, says the wrong things. At this rate, we'll never find the right girl for Vikram," a frustrated Karuna informed the family one evening after returning home from an expedition to meet a girl and her family. "I did as asked. Then your ma changed her mind. Somehow I'm to blame," Aditya said in self-defense. "What did I do wrong? I'm tired of it all. Why did you eat all those sweets and sit there enjoying your tea when you knew well we could not possibly choose that girl for Vikram?" Karuna complained. "What was I to do? It was a long journey and I was hungry. There was no time to eat before we went to see them. We were already late. Why did you not say something to me then? We both knew there was no chance of an alliance. But what is the harm in accepting their hospitality? Perhaps we should not travel such long distances just to see a girl. Aren't there any decent girls in Cuttack?" Aditya replied. "If there were, would we be foolish enough to go all the way in search of one, incurring all that expense, spending so much time and energy?" said Karuna. Well, these are, just little snapshots, I suppose, because once the marriage takes place, things actually turn quite dark, and I don't think I will read much from that except one extract, and then sort of towards the end. So this is after Asha is married and she's gone off to her husband's home, which is sort of the tradition, and the view sort of begins fairly sort of soon after that. But this is an example of it is bad enough, but it's probably not sort of physical violence. One morning, Asha found herself alone. The maid had not turned up. Her father-in-law had gone to work. Anand too disappeared after breakfast with the cryptic message, "I'm going out." Between cooking and cleaning, Asha was savouring a quiet moment with a cup of tea. She was missing her family, wondering how they were getting on. Absent-mindedly, she moved aside a pile of old magazines and newspapers to make space for her teacup. As she did so, Asha noticed a letter that uncannily resembled her own handwriting. She looked at it again and realized it was indeed her own. When she rifled through the pile of paper, she was startled to see several of her letters, all addressed to Anand, lying there in full view. Asha experienced a sequence of emotions: disbelief, puzzlement of the this can't be true, must be a mistake variety, followed by outrage, anger, disappointment, and a deep sense of violation. She could hear the wild palpitations of her heart and was afraid it might leap out of her body, which was also quaking like a leaf in a storm. When she stopped trembling, Asha began to retrieve all her letters on the table. Wondering how many of her letters were lying around the place, she resolved to rescue as many as she could find. She examined every accessible nook and corner